It's called the Keystone Pipeline. Most people have not ever heard of it, but it's in northern Alberta, northern section of Alberta in Canada. They found a way to extract the oil out of the sand shale, and they are producing a great amount of crude oil there, but they want to get it to refinery. Well, the refineries, the best and most efficient refineries, are on the Gulf Coast. So how do you get it from central Canada down to Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas? They want to build a pipeline. The pipeline that comes across Canada to the east, and then from above Chicago and then south, and it has a spur over to Illinois, but otherwise it goes into Oklahoma, and then there's spurs to the respective areas. 20,000 construction jobs are involved with it. But the environmentalists are fighting it. And part of the argument that they're giving is they don't want us to sell Canadian oil to China, because they're afraid China will be the recipient of some of that crude. And I'm saying to myself, you know, if they're trying to block us from selling oil to China, could coal be next? And that's one of our big industries that we're exporting right now, is our coal industry, is our coal to China. And if they don't want us to send our oil to China, could they then start talking about maybe we shouldn't sell our coal to China? Your call. So we're trying to get that approved, that pipeline approved. The president has had it on his desk for 3 years, the application, because it becomes an international issue that they have to sign. That it has to be. The president has to sign off on approval to bring a line in across this country. He has signed it in 3 years. So the bill, I'm one of the co-sponsors of it, says if you don't sign the bill, it's going to be granted on the permit is granted. But if you veto it, then we'll fight you, or you strike the bill and say no. We'll look at it. We'll find another way. We've got to create jobs. So when people talk about how we're preventing jobs, there's a good example. The Keystone Pipeline, 20,000 jobs. How many more jobs would be in the Gulf, Fred? It could be done there. You know, put those people back to work. And another more question.
Are you concerned about EPA regulatory impact on our state, and what can be done to have oversight of the EPA regulation?
I think you can say I'm scared to death of the EPA. I think they have a legitimate role. And I'm not trying to do away with them. I know a lot of people get hysterical about it. They do away entirely. You know, but just be more responsible. One of the things that we got into it, Fred, was there's an issue when we had an early discussion with Lisa Jackson, and she said, we asked her, did you do an economic impact statement before you issued that rule? And she whipped out her section. She knew that question was coming, and she said, I have no statutory obligation to concern my issue, health, safety, and welfare of the American public. Nothing about jobs. That's kind of scary, that we allow a government body, because there are no checks and balances. You understand, before your time, Woody, that it used to be in the West Virginia legislature, they did the same thing. All rules and regs were approved by the governor. But sometime in the early 80s when I was there, enough people were complaining about that. So we passed a bill that meant we had to have all the rules and regs had to come before the legislature for us to sign off on. And it used to happen on the last couple of days of the session. We would deal with that. And it gave a bit of accountability. But in Washington, there is none. There is no checks and balances on any of the regulatory bodies, whether it's MSHA, OSHA, any of them. The EPA, none of the FDA, they answer to the president. So I'm one of the co-sponsors of a bill called REIN, R-E-I-N. And what it's intended to do is we can't do everything. But if that bill has an impact that could cost $100 million to the American public, we want them to come before Congress for approval of that rule and reg. And it has tremendous support in the House. We're not getting the support yet in the Senate, because we don't want to do it. We want a voice. We want to make sure that those of us that are working out there, working with people every day on it, that they have a voice on the rules and regs before they pass something that could kill another series of jobs. Because with this coal industry, I only mentioned fly ash. You got the boiler mac rule that the EPA has done that they could impose on it. It would shut down low numbers of jobs. You have the air transport rule of where the particular matter, whatever, the leaving the coal-fired generating plants coming to the east, that'll be affected with it. You have the greenhouse gases, the issue there with it. I could go on. That coal is definitely under fire right now, and it's important for all of us to protect that. So the EPA knows. For a while there, Woody, I would talk to Lisa Jackson, we'd smile and talk. Now she walks past me and just growls. So we don't have a good working relationship right now between two of us, but she knows I'm serious about this. This affects the lifeblood of West Virginia. Not like, unlike any other state, we're very dependent on our energy issues, so we have to be careful what we do. But